What is up, everybody? It's your boy Duty back again with another video. My apologies, folks. Your boy Duty was out the vortex yesterday and didn't get much time to watch much content or post too many videos yesterday. But your boy Duty did manage to catch some of it, especially Phil's ranting and raving for 20 minutes, threatening people if they did not like or support the HellBeg 2 playthrough. Oh my lord, our boy Phil gets really upset whenever he thinks that his premiere day will bomb out, and it was kind of looking that way, especially on the first stream. What do he make, $70? So I know he was a bit worried, being that he was going to be playing it all day, and usually when he does play it all day, support for the first stream is usually and then of course it craters in the night stream. But it seems like it was a little different yesterday, so let's hear what Phil had to say on the Daily Wrap.
Good evening, everyone. Phil here. Welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Tuesday, the 21st of May, 2024. Also known as HellBeg 2 Day. I played HellBeg 2 all day. Not only did I play it once, I played it twice, and I did an extended late stream, thinking that maybe I could beat the game based on feedback, but it didn't happen. But allow me to very briefly summarize my thoughts on this game and how it went. So first of all, on today's Level 1 podcast, we covered a variety of topics once again. Some interesting news about some acquisitions in the gaming world, and also a big discussion about AI. So if you are interested in those topics, check out the podcast from this morning, okay? HellBeg 2, all right? If you played HellBeg 1, you know HellBeg 2, because it's pretty much almost the same game. It's puzzles, it's some combat, there's a lot of walking, there's a lot of story exposition. Senua's voices in her head are constantly talking to her and stalking her and haunting her. In particular, the difference is that this game has a lot of supporting characters. In the first game, it was pretty much Senua the entirety of the game, having these hallucinations and things going on, and you didn't ever know if any of it was real. In Senua's saga, there are other characters who she interacts with and who are part of the story, and they're not, at least from what you can tell, hallucinations. So it's definitely different from the first game in that regard. At the same time, I will say this, there is a weird pacing issue in this game. There is ridiculously scary, gory stuff in the second act, which happens around the second hour of the game. And then what ends up happening is later on, other things happen that are scary, but you know that these things are pretty much just in her mind, so it's not scary at all. In the first game, it was actually scarier because you never knew what was real and what wasn't. In this game, you kind of do, if what I'm understanding the game to be. And I don't know, I just felt like, to me, the first game, always having this ominous feeling of, is anything going on real, or is it all in Senua's head, was always a scary thing, and always trying to figure out the plot and stuff. In this one, honestly, it seems more straightforward, less confusing, but in that regard, it actually makes it less entertaining. To know that there was this big physical threat in real life in the second hour of the game kind of takes away from the whole feeling of threat of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if you have that confusion factor? Is it supernatural, or is it not? Actually added to the game in the first one, and you don't really get that in this one. In addition, it's a different location, and a lot of people may be burned out because guess what? It's Norse. Well, guess what? We've had Norse shit in so many games in the last 5 to 10 years. You might be completely burned out on that, right? Let me put it this way. I don't dislike the game, but definitely this game did not feel like it innovated much at all from the original, at least the 6 hours in that I'm in right now. Perhaps at the end, but I don't think so at this point. The combat is incredibly simplistic. I would say the graphics are good, but again, another thing I will say, it doesn't blow me away as much as the first one. The first one was on Xbox One, and the game was like almost best-in-class graphics at the time from a game studio that's not a giant studio. So to me, to see that, I was blown away. This time around, here we are 7 years later on the Xbox Series X, and the graphics are good, but they're 30 frames, which I'm okay with in this game. I don't really think you need 60 for this kind of game, but at the same time, they're not as good as they were back then. Like, back then, I was amazed at how good it looked. This time, I'm just like, they're all right. They're good, right? So in that regard, I do feel like it's a little underwhelming. Not as high of a level as the first one. Now, I will elaborate on these thoughts tomorrow on the podcast. I don't want to talk about this all night here, but 6 hours in, I've beaten 5, or I'm about to beat 5 chapters. Apparently, the game has 6 chapters. People have said the game is only 5 hours long. That is a lie. The only way you could beat this game in 5 hours is if you already know how to beat it. You know the solutions to every single puzzle, so you don't have to spend time trial and error figuring them out, and you know to skip side content. If you literally don't look for side content and know the solution, you could beat the game in 5 hours, but that's a speed run. So people saying it's 5 hours long have lied. That is completely irresponsible and bullshit. I'm 6 hours in, and now there is no more hidden content to find. I still have a big boss fight at the end of Chapter 5, and then there's an entire Chapter 6 to do. So likely another hour to 2 hours to beat it. So if you want to say it's 8 hours long, that's definitely more accurate. To say it's 5 hours is a blatant misrepresentation of the game, meant for people who want to just fucking shit talk, okay? Anyway,
All right, so this is the little rant here that I want to focus on mainly, because the rest of it is, yeah, whatever, Phil. You provide actually no real insight into anything. But yeah, his last comment there, where he's ranting and raving about people saying it took them 5 hours to beat the game, and that they're blatant liars and shit talking. Why do you have to go to that extent, Phil, with everything? Just because someone has a varying opinion than you. I played the game. I beat the game in 6 hours, Phil, and I didn't speed run it. I sat down, I played it for 6 hours and beat the game. I did a good amount of the side content. I beat the bosses. It's a very easy game. For you to sit there and say you spent nearly 6 hours playing the game yourself and you're still not done is bullshit. It's a fucking lie. How many break? Okay, so your first day of stream was what, 3 hours? You don't play for 3 hours. You take how many breaks do you take? How many pee breaks do you take? How many times do you stop to shout out people? You out of your 3 hours that you played on the first playthrough, you probably may have played the game 2 hours. 2 hours. And then your night stream, you went close to 3 hours. What? Another 2.5 hours there? So you're literally just 4.5 hours into the game, Phil, of actual gameplay. Not 6 hours, Phil. Not 6 hours. So what you're saying is a misrepresentation and just bullshit. And the other thing is, big fucking shit if some people take 5 hours to play the game. Aren't you the fucking guy that says it doesn't matter how you play the game? Everyone can play the game the way they see fit. Aren't you that fucking guy? Especially when you half-ass good games. You know, like when you have stealth games and you just fucking run and gun like an idiot. You sit there and complain when people criticize you that you're not playing the game right, and you sit there and say, well, now, you know, anybody can play the game they want. It's their prerogative, right? So what's the fucking problem with people speed running the game and only taking 5 hours to beat it? They're probably not sitting there fucking tracking tips, doing tip audits, doing shout outs, pee breaking every fucking 10 minutes. Again, I played the game. I did a lot of side content. I beat all the bosses. I beat the game in 6 hours. It's not a fucking hard game. It's a pretty simplistic game, yes. The puzzles aren't complex. They're not. It's an okay game. And your rant about that it's not as good as the first one, yeah, most games aren't as good as the first ones. It was a fine addition. It was a little too short for me. And, yeah, it was fucking easy. But it was a Game Pass game, and honestly, I didn't expect much from the game, especially that it took so long to actually fucking publish the damn thing. How long is it? It came out, 2019? The trailer? And we're talking about 5 years later, and I didn't expect much. So that we got this, I guess, was fine. But you're ranting and raving because your first playthrough of it was pretty shitty. Your first stream got, $70? And that was because one dent came in and dropped, 2 dents came in and dropped $15 or something like that? If it wasn't for that, you would have probably not even hit the tier 1 tip goal. That's your problem, Phil. That's why you're sitting here bitching and fucking complaining. Because you were concerned of the criticism, because prior to him playing it, Twitter was going crazy about how not good the game was. And much of the criticism is valid of what people said on Twitter. It is fucking valid. So Phil's just fucking annoyed and pissed because he thought he was going to rake it the fuck in. He thought he was going to make the tier 3 tip go on both streams, and it didn't happen. Again, Phil, you're not that good of a fucking content creator. You're fucking boring as all fuck. So maybe work on your streaming skills and not focus on the game. How many content creators out there that play crappy games or play the same game and they make bank. They make bank because they're interesting. Unlike you, Phil, you're not fucking interesting whatsoever. And again, the only reason why you're making any cash whatsoever is because you got 2 or 3 whales coming out and dropping cash for you. And that's fucking it. Last night, he got a $50 anonymous dono. Big ups to OIC for that. And that was it. So that's why he's fucking annoyed. And the shit is that he has to play it again for at least another hour or two, which means he may have to play it on the night stream. And you know what happens when he plays games on the night stream. And by the time he plays it again, a week later, no one's going to give a shit. All the hype's going to... I mean, there's no real hype for the game anyway, but even the dents that were willing to watch it and support it, they're not going to support that shit when you play it again on a Monday night stream. You should have just fucking shoed it in. You should have shoehorned it in today. You don't have to play Street Fighter all fucking day today. You could have played it on the night stream for an hour and just beat the fucking game and get it over with. But of course, not Phil. Phil has to do everything fucking reverse and backwards. And then he sits there and complains why he's not successful.
Overall, I didn't dislike the game. I'm not in love with it. Obviously, I want to see how it ends before I give my final thoughts. Tomorrow, if you want a more in-depth analysis of things about the game, check out the Level 1 podcast. But in the meantime, I'm 6 hours in. I'm pooped. The thing is, I'm not going to get to play this game again until like Monday at the earliest, because tomorrow we got Street Fighter 6, so there's only an hour or 2 hours left. I'm not playing it Friday. Friday's going to be Street Fighter 6 all day again. Saturday is my Indies Marathon, and then Sunday is my React Day. So the earliest I could do this is Monday. It is what it is, right? But anyway, thanks, people who attended and everything today. I appreciate that. People did support the streams. I appreciate that very much. And we will wrap it up next week, okay? Speaking of which, tomorrow, Street Fighter 6, it's finally the day. Akuma releases. Balance patch releases, year 2 begins. I hope you will join me for that tomorrow if you can make it. It should be a really good time. And I'm excited for it. I really am. I'm excited for Akuma and the balance changes. I'm playing it all day long, so I hope you will join me all day. If you've liked that journey I did last year in Street Fighter 6, tomorrow should be a big, eventful day. Okay, guys? Thank you all. Please have a good night. See you all tomorrow. Peace out.
Alrighty, so I am actually a little excited for today. For Street Fighter all day with the patches. From what I'm reading, what the changes, some of the changes are, Phil's not gonna have a good fucking day. He is not gonna have a good fucking day at all, because they really didn't buff the players he liked. They didn't buff Blanca, they didn't buff Lily, they didn't buff Dalsim, and that's who he's gonna play with. He's gonna choose to play with Blanca and these fucking players, and he's gonna get fucking shit canned all day. Man, you think the salt's been crazy the last 6 months. Today's salt is just going to be fucking epic. It's going to be epic. He's going to be fucking throwing shit. He's going to be banging his joystick. He's going to be screaming. We're going to definitely get a fucking a netcode rant. Tony Cannon's name will be brought up. Of course, he'll be talking shit about the FGC and how they support this garbage. Today's just going to be fucking lovely. And I'm pretty surprised he's actually going to play it all day today. I mean, that's a recipe for disaster. If it's as bad as I think it's going to be on the first stream, he may do an audible tonight. He may say, "Oh, I'm so tired and hot and stressed out and overworked. I just need a chill stream. So let's do another chill with Phil." He may do that tonight, because if he gets fucking curb stomped during the first stream, I can't envision him doing it for a second time on the night stream. Because it's going to get even worse, because in the night stream, that's where a lot of the Street Fighter trolls come out. I mean, most people have regular jobs during the day, and they work at that time. So the night stream is just going to be even worse, because you're going to have all of the trolls out there playing with Cammy, trying to curb stop and Phil. It's going to be fucking delicious. Today's content is going to be very sweet. So hopefully your boy Duty will have several videos out about Street Fighter. So anyway, that's it, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.